My name is Edgardo Guevara Gesmundo. I live in Hayward, California. I was born in Manila on August 4, 1951. We've been in this present address since May 22nd, 1990. When we settled here, we were around predominantly Filipino families, and so the bonding was instantaneous. We were able to gather in most parties that Filipinos are fond of: birthdays, graduation parties, anniversaries, and the like. In the Philippines, I grew up in a city that was 60 miles south of Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. It was a normal neighborhood. We were 2 blocks away from church, 2 blocks away from the school, so it's a normal commute. My elementary and my high school were spent with the Jesuits. My college was with the Christian Brothers of the De La Salle, and my master's degree was a combination of the State University, Ateneo, which is Jesuit school, and De La Salle, which are Christian Brothers. I came to America to secure my firstborn son's status and documentation. When we were in the Philippines, the Civil War was about to start, or it was brewing, and my wife, being an American citizen, has travel visa or a passport to go to the States. I, on my own, can travel because by virtue of my work. I have traveled to different countries. But my firstborn son, who was around 6 months old, has to be brought to the States in order to have the valid documentation of an immigrant. I can recall of 2 different items in the struggle. I graduated in the Philippines with an MBM degree, and there being no direct accreditation with regard to my education, I found it difficult to find employment. Although I got educated by Jesuits and Christian Brothers of the De La Salle, the education was, they're from the States, but fundamentally you are not a recognized degree holder unless you get the degree from the States. Secondly, I came from a pharmaceutical background, and most companies are based outside California, which made it difficult to get a job in line with the specialization or my work background that I was in. In the Philippines, I worked for a pharmaceutical company, and after my graduation from master's degree, I took part-time job in the province as a Dean of Commerce with around 2,500 students. My workload was only not a full-time job, but I was there in the school from only 5 to 8 in the evening. After that, I ventured back to my line of work, which is pharmaceutical pharmaceuticals, and there I found a job starting as a staff to the president. From there I moved on to operations, and as a staff to the president, we were in charge of educating the executives of the company. Most of the pharmaceutical companies are from the East Coast, are based in the East Coast. I had difficulty trying to connect with the same line of work that I did in the Philippines. So I was forced to shift to another line of work without my educational accreditation. The Marcos regime did us good, being us meaning the place I worked with in the Philippines being foreign companies. We had a stable political environment. Investments were flowing in, and so when martial law was declared, and subsequently when there was the assassination of a political enemy in the name of Benigno Aquino, the country was embroiled in a turmoil. At one point, inflation was running around 60%, and dollar allocations were cut off. So it made it very difficult for foreign companies to operate in. Coupled with that was the uncertainty and the brewing civil war, which made the upper middle class very unstable. Upper middle class and the rich one very unstable. So there were flights of capital and flights of people with highly trained specializations, doctors, engineers, teachers, managers, are getting out of the country, anticipating the country to be embroiled in a civil war. In martial law, and in the first stages of martial law, it forced the Filipino people to be disciplined. Manifestations of which are, it used to be that going or getting the bus ride was chaotic. They were forced to line up and be disciplined and do one at a time riding in public transportation. Also, it used to be that people will get on and off public transport in non-designated stop places, but during the reign of martial law, all these rules, traffic rules, were adhered to by both motorists and the operators, public utility operators. The other ones would be that since midnight was a curfew, a lot of people were back in their homes, instill discipline into the people, and you cannot be out in the public without any kind of special permit. And so most businesses, most families are together at the stroke of midnight. Personally, being in a pharmaceutical company, we entertain a lot of doctors, we entertain a lot of businessmen, and so it affected us in a way that we had to schedule all these other activities, before the stroke of midnight. Whereas before, it was a free-for-all. We can go home, in the early morning hours and wine and dine with the doctors. But because there were a lot of checkpoints that were instituted by the government, you cannot do a lot of drinking, you cannot do a lot of entertaining past the stroke of midnight. In America, there was a shift in values, whereas before in the Philippines it was more pursuit of your professional dream. Now it's more in America. It became more of a family building value, where everything centered on the family, activities centered on the family, and you have to do your own chores with regard to raising the family. In the Philippines, you have domestic helpers, you have nannies, you have drivers to take care of the family. When I came here to America, it has to be on the shoulders of the family, raising the family. If I can do it all over again, I will do it, but with a certain twist. I'll get my education in America and not in the Philippines, so that the combination of professional pursuit and family life can be more in balance.